The building. This is an appeal for people who work at MTV. It's a beautiful sunny day, and what you're doing in there is really not very good, is it? You're destroying the minds of young people, sexualizing young women, disgraceful videos you've got there. I don't know what on earth you think you're doing in there. Come out of the building. You are doing no good. You are destroying and poisoning the minds of young people. You are doing a disservice to humanity, and it's beautifully sunny weather out here. Please come out of the building as soon as possible. The less time you spend manipulating young people and destroying their minds, the better. Yes, sir.
How's it going? How did it go with the party?
How did it go what? With the political party?
Yeah.
I did as well as the Labour Party did, which means I have as much power as the Labour Party had, which is none.
None?
Yes.
Okay,
you see, they're not a majority.
So you decided...
This is an appeal to anybody working at MTV. Please wake up to what you're doing. You're going to regret it when you look back on your life and ask yourself, what did I actually spend my time doing? I perverted the minds of children and adults. You're going to feel really bad about it. I would highly recommend just enjoying the sunshine. Come out of the building with your hands up. You know what you're doing is wrong, clearly. Excuse me, please don't touch people. This is a public speech, and she has a right to film you just like you have a right to film us. You've got cameras over there. Do not touch anybody. Behave yourself, Mr. Viacom Security. We don't want to have to sue you. Anyway, you've got a problem? Yes, you want to talk about it, sir?
Yeah, you remember Matt?
Oh, hello. How are you doing?
What are you protesting about?
I'm not really protesting. I'm kind of trying to shed light on a disgraceful organisation that is poisoning the minds of young people and have been doing it for years by showing the most... Oh, I'll give you an example. I was in a hotel recently. I'll give you an example. I was in a hotel recently with my 8-year-old son, and they had a display of Madonna and Nicki Minaj's latest video, which I'm sure you've posted on MTV, haven't you?
Well, how would you know?
Well, no, I don't watch MTV, but I assume you put Nicki Minaj on there. I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you, have you got, I mean, can I ask you as someone who works for MTV, do you have any standards? Are there any videos that you won't put up there because they're slightly perverse and perhaps a bit paedophilic? Yes.
I'll happily engage in a conversation with you.
Okay.
Do it as person to person.
All right.
I'm not going to do it through that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have very strict standards. We abide by the broadcast standards that are laid down by Ofcom in this country, and everything is done to a pre-watershed standard.
Right.
So, because we know that people of younger ages than 16 are going to be watching throughout the day. So we actually, if you bother to watch, although we do broadcast videos from people like Nicki Minaj, we often broadcast them in an edited form because we are broadcasting to a pre-watershed standard. So actually you need to get your facts right before you start standing on the street broadcasting stuff to people.
So you don't think my feelings that MTV is part of, you know, the destruction, the total moral bankruptcy and the destruction of young people's minds, posting images over and over again that sexualize women, right, young women as well, that, you know, the depravity of today's music. It's absolutely depraved. You don't think that? You don't think there's a claim
to be had about it? And I think MTV obviously is a music brand. It connects with young people because it speaks the language of young people. And actually, you know, I hate to say it, but you were a man of a certain generation.
Yeah.
If you were standing there as a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old and expressing that opinion, I would be, from an MTV point of view, I'd be more inclined to sort of address it and understand it. I'm not saying your point is not valid. I'm just saying it's one point amongst many.
Okay.
And the reality is that, you know, we are a broadcast TV channel.
Yes.
We abide by very, very strict standards that when it comes to taste and decency, as applied to Ofcom. They're the same standards that the BBC operates to. They're the same standard that everybody operates to. So there is an issue. I think there is an issue about how young people are portrayed and from their sexuality on TV. But I have to say, I think we are one of the good guys in that respect.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, I do actually, because I think if you bother to watch, I understand that there is concern about sexualized imageries within music videos, but when you see it, what we broadcast, when we're broadcasting to a young audience before 9 o'clock, we are very strictly editing that material.
Well, I'm happy to be re-educated, but
Come back. Go next time you're in.
I will.
By the way,
I'll have a look.
I don't think your 8-year-old son should be watching MTV.
Well, I was well, maybe or maybe not.
Your
But
responsibility as a parent. Actually, it's a TV. It's an option. You have an option to turn on.
do you know what? Do you know what?
It's a
Even if you
paid
take,
brand.
even if you, yeah, sorry, go on.
MTV is a paid-for subscription television brand.
Yeah.
You're not broadcasting it free to air into anybody's home. If you get MTV, you pay
I don't
for
get
it.
MTV.
Well, no, but if you did, you pay for it. You choose to get it.
Yeah.
So it's a choice amongst consumers. They choose to pay money to receive it. So we're not broadcasting to anybody who hasn't paid and has made a choice to receive it and paid their own money to receive it.
Yeah, I hear
you
that.
as a parent, and I'm not, I'm not having a go, but you as a parent have control over what your 8-year-old son watches on TV and what they see online. And you have to exercise a degree of responsibility as a parent. We all do. I do it with my kids about what they see in a media environment. So it's a two-way thing. Of course we have responsibilities, but we also have very strict guidelines under which we operate.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, look, I appreciate your right to say whatever you want.
Thank you.
You're very happy.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to me.
I think you're sort of slightly. To be honest, I don't think your message would necessarily resonate very strongly with anyone in the building, but
well, we don't know that.
Well, you don't know that,
yeah.
but then people have actually again chosen to work at MTV because they believe in it as a brand.
Well, they might not because they believe in it as a brand. They might have chosen because they might have ended.
I mean,
Why?
I worked for Viacom, and I absolutely knew.
Do you really think Viacom stands for great things? Do you really believe that?
I think Viacom is a commercial media company which makes money out of entertaining people.
Yeah.
And I think there are many things.
And conditioning them as well.
Well, I don't think we do it because we're trying to condition them. We're trying to entertain
but you're
them.
trying to make money. You're trying to make money.
Of course we are.
Yeah.
And that's a perfectly legitimate thing to do.
Well, is it?
Right.
Does it trump any? Does it trump other things? Does it trump ethics and morals?
I think if you do
in our society, it seems to.
I come back to my original point. We broadcast under very strict regulations.
Okay. You know what I'd really like to do? So I'm going to go back and do some research. I'd like to get your email address.
Fine.
And I'd like to come back and sit and watch some clips that you put on MTV during the day with you and talk about that. Would you be prepared to do that?
I may be prepared to do that. I'm certainly prepared to talk to you about how we edit.
I mean, I can I can get the videos on my phone, and we can meet again and just for a few minutes, and
how we edit music material, and then if after that you want to stand outside, you want to stand outside our offices and tell us we work for Satan, you're very welcome.
I didn't use those words.
Well, you sort of talked about depravity, and you've got to remember, people work here.
Yeah.
People do make an active choice. That's fine. If you want to criticise, that's fine. But to broadcast it to the whole world, can be.
Well, you guys are broadcasting a lot of things to the whole world that I don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not obliged. You're not obliged to listen to MTV. As I said,
no, I hear that.
You pay your money to receive.
I hear
it's
that.
A consumption choice.
I hear that.
You standing in the street with a microphone, everybody in this building is obliged to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, look. That's your right, and I completely respect that. I certainly wouldn't want to close that down.
Thank
you.
But
I do think you just need to be aware that
I hear that.
Some people in the building might consider that was quite offensive.
I just want to say about the kids that you're saying to their choice. I don't think it's their choice anymore. I think if everyone around them watch the same things, it's kind of a brainwash at the end of the day, isn't it? It's not really a choice.
Look, young people are definitely more vulnerable when it comes to the media choices they make. That's partly responsible of their parents to make sure they make good choices about media. As they grow older, yes, they are going to be much more exposed to a much wider array of media. But in this country, we have very strict rules governing what young people what you can and can't broadcast to young people. So you just need to be a bit careful that we're not here indiscriminately pumping out all the stuff that the music business creates. We edit it very carefully when we show it when young people will be watching.
I don't think MTV doing something different than anyone else doesn't do. That's not what I think. I think you're doing just a lot of other,
No, all broadcasters in this country, the UK is a very, very tightly regulated media market. Ofcom operates a lot of rules and regulations to prevent young people in particular being exposed to material that they shouldn't be exposed to, and that includes highly sexualised images in music videos. So again, as I say, you may have a broader view about whether the media as a whole acts responsibly, but in this country we actually operate to a very, very high standard, and I think you just need to be aware of that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
It's good to talk.
You too.